Oh, hello there. Welcome to Yoga How To. Have I mentioned I love books? Yes, I do. And in fact, I have made it a daily spiritual practice to read an inspirational reading every morning for probably the last 10 years. So I have collected, let me just show you my little stack of books that I wanted to share with you today. This is just a sampling of some of the books that I've gotten through in the last 10 years that I think are worthy of a mention. So what I want to do is kind of give you, as a yoga practitioner or yoga teacher, some suggestions on some poets, on some writers, on some books, and maybe even share a few of the ideas from some of these books that I've dog-eared over the years. Say that 3 times fast. Anyway, thanks for joining us today. Let's get into it. Okay, let's start with some Bhakti poetry. Rumi, yes. I don't know if Rumi would consider himself a Bhakti poet, but to me it fits the bill. Yes, he was a Sufi. Rumi's story is incredible, right? He was already the enlightened guy in town and then meets Shams, his teacher, and throws it all away as the prince to go kind of live this wild man life for a while, and everybody's distraught, and he does it regardless. But all the poetry that he wrote from the time he met Shams till the time when he died, or Shams died, I'm not really sure which happened first when he stopped writing, but this is a pretty cool version because it's doled out for one poem every day of the year. So it's a year with Rumi. Coleman Barks, I think it's a decent English translation. I think with poets like Rumi, it's going to be hard to find anything in English that isn't going to stretch it in some ways that maybe might not always be the best, but I don't know his native language, so until that day, I'm going to just go with this one. Some other more traditional takes on Bhakti. Well, again, I say traditional, but this one, Songs of Kabir, fantastic little read. Again, nice short little entries. Read one day at a time. Hafiz, one of the greatest of all times. He's Sufi, but definitely the writing is Bhakti. Now, this version, I'm not sure I can recommend it. Who will feed my cat? I will not. I will need someone to feed my cat when I leave this world, though my cat is not ordinary. She only has 3 paws, fire, air, and water. I mean, you read that in the morning when you've just woken up, and I promise you, it's going to make you think things you wouldn't otherwise. So good. And then, of course, my favorite, the best Bhakti poet, in my opinion, Mirabai. These are the best, most inspired poems. I have several of hers, and oh my goodness me, she hits hard. Her flavor, you just have to understand that Mirabai is all about the longing, all about the pain, all about the wanting, all about the desire. And yes, that commitment and devotion is so supreme that it is spiritual. It is not desire for riches, comfort, anything other than just union with her Lord, right? To love a yogi, O sister, is to love only sorrow. He murmurs sweet words while he's with you, then forgets and departs. For the yogi, a sprig of jasmine is easily plucked, easily dropped. Mira says to her Lord, bring back your beauty. When I can't see you, the absence knifes open my heart. Man, that's one not to even be, you don't think about these poems. You feel these poems. You read these to feel them. Okay, a small selection of poetry books that are based on yoga. This one, The Poetry of Yoga. Can't recommend this one enough. Every day, just a nice little poem. Every poem is by somebody different. I mean, there's several poems by the same people in here, but all stuff to inspire the spirit and the purpose and intent and meaning of yoga poetry. Here's another one, Eknath Easwaran, God Makes the Rivers to Flow, an anthology of the world's sacred poetry and prose. This is cool because he takes stuff from all sorts of backgrounds, from everything from Chief Yellow Lark, the Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishads, the Dhammapada, which is, of course, the Buddha, Kabir, Yoga Vashishta, This one's really cool. Lots of marked pages, as you can see. The Teachings of Yoga by Georg Feuerstein. Georg, we love you. How can you not like Georg Feuerstein? What a huge seminal gift he gave us with his translations of yoga stuff. But yeah, same thing here. Here's a little piece about self-knowledge from Sri Ramana Maharshi. Here's a little something from the Gita, the Katha Upanishad, Yoga Vashishta, the Rahasya, Kabir, Swami Muktananda. Yes, yes, yes. In short, look at that. Soul to Soul, compiled by John Mundall. Poems, prayers, and stories to end a yoga class. Very specific idea in mind. This is when I was in my page flagging era. I don't really like that anymore. I should go back through here and Thich Nhat Hanh. Who else has he got here? Maria Garcia. Some by him. David Frawley. I love David Frawley. Yeah, Dalai Lama. Good one. This one, David Garrigas. These are all 46 poems. I guess you could call these, it says 46 poems for lovers of Hatha Yoga. Really, these are like bhakti poems about the 8 limbs of Hatha Yoga. And he's got some cool ones in here I really love. How challenging should you make each pose? Make it hard enough to be catapulted into the present moment. Then drop your grudges and become receptive to loving and being loved. Boom. What else do you need? Cup of coffee, your morning set. And then this one's not directly yoga, even though Buddha was a yogi for many years of his life, and arguably even after he became enlightened. Edited by Jack Kornfield. We all know Jack. This one's fantastic. It's such a great opportunity to look into yoga philosophy, which has a slightly different flavor, obviously, than, Buddhist philosophy, which is a slightly different flavor than yoga philosophy. But really good stuff here, too. Okay, a short list of inspirational readings that you can do in short, bite-sized morning amounts. I like it in the morning anyway. I'm going to call this category readings from over 100 years ago, or ish, around there. This first one might be controversial because I don't think it's quite 100 years old, but Khalil Gibran. Now, I have this version to show you another great writing of his, but of course, if you haven't read The Prophet, what are you doing? Why are you wasting your life? That's the one to do, right? 100 poems, Tukaram. Another one. So now some of these ones get a little like, you're like, wait, what is he talking about? And sometimes that's the point, right? Sometimes that's the point, is to not know everything they give you. Stoics, we love the Stoics. The Stoics love the Yogis. Obviously, you can tell. This one, Seneca, Letters from a Stoic. I also highly recommend Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. This one, I love this one. This is translated by Andrew Harvey. Love is Everything, A Year with Heidevich of Antwerp. Oh my gosh, how could you not love this? She was, a Christian mystic from Bhagwan. And when you read this, it's like, okay, these are just the thoughts, feelings, prayers, and sufferings of a bhakti yogi. Look at May 14th. Just as lit wood becomes fire, the soul burnt by him becomes him. Oh, come on, that's so good. Calendar of Wisdom by Leo Tolstoy. This is a really interesting one because it challenges a lot of things that I don't necessarily agree with. I agree with the large majority of it, but it's important that you do this, because as somebody who's investing in the philosophy of yoga, whether a student or a teacher, you want to get enough of a base around what your own experience of truth is, so that you don't just take everything ad hoc to be authority, that you read some things and you actually have some contention with them. That's an important step in your own growth, maturity of your own wisdom. But by and large, I will say, Leo Tolstoy, it's really cool. This was like the work of his life. He spent decades preparing this to kind of leave behind as his legacy. And what's cool about it is you'll see kind of each page, he starts off with maybe an introduction to the concept in his own words, and then he'll use a few quotes from other people to drive the point home. So this one is about intellect, and some of his source amnesia, especially concerning Eastern wisdom, is a little disappointing, that he does such a great job with citing and giving credit to people in the West. Here we got one from the Bible, Ralph Waldo Emerson, Immanuel Kant, and this one just says Eastern wisdom. Maybe it was hard without the internet back then. Here's a random one. The Valley of Vision. This was given to me by a client, and this is cool because it's all poems that you read on the daily that are, what's the word? Poems of the Pilgrim, right? Puritanical poems. And I'm full transparency, I'm not Christian, but the concepts, once you get past the way in which the form is constructed in a particular religion, the wisdom, the actual feeling and emotion, the heart behind this stuff, it's gold. It's so good. Another one in that same avenue is Eugene Peterson's Praying with the Psalms. Again, looking for spiritual wisdom from anyone. You don't have to be, a Muslim to find wisdom from a Sufi like Hafiz. You don't have to be Christian to find wisdom from the Bible. And this one's cool. He takes every day a little section of the psalm as he goes through each one, and then there's a little commentary along how it helps guide your life. This one, look at that. Tons of dog ears on that one. Okay, now final category, we're just going to go right into poetry. The importance of reading poetry as a way to invoke the wisdom of yoga cannot be understated. I think that too often we get into the deep end of yoga philosophy and try to express and understand these concepts that when we really get to the ultimate level of interfacing with these concepts, the only hope that we have to actually have any personal relationship with them is through something abstract like poetry, to try to drill them down into categories or purely objective, empirical, nice clean edges and lines. It's just not what yoga is about in the grand scheme of things. So let's go through a few of my favorites real quick. Of course, if you're sleeping on Mary Oliver, do yourself a favor. This is the first place I'd start. I don't have a book by him right here, but David Whyte. You can't have a talk about modern spiritual poetry without David Whyte. His predecessor, John O'Donohue, this is a good one, Anamkara. This one I got in Amsterdam. This one's 150 Inspiring Quotes by Vincent van Gogh. Cannot recommend that enough. That guy was tapped into something for sure. Neruda. This is a local guy here in Colorado. James E. Saletti, if I'm saying that right. Sunfire. I love even the title of that one. Got to give a shout out here to Maria Popova. Maybe you've heard of the Margolinian. Yeah, this is the universe in verse. This was really inspiring. This is definitely worth a buy. Ocean Vuong. Can't say enough good things about this. This one, Night Sky with Exit Wounds. Oof. Talk about heartrending, heartbreaking, but so humanizing and so inspiring. News of the Universe by Robert Bly. This is a nice collection of spiritual poetry from everybody from James Wright to William Everson, John Haynes. I mean, it got me in touch with a lot of poetry that, you always hear about some of these poets. Whitman, Rilke. He does a nice job of kind of covering the whole gamut in his collection here. And I have to say, probably one of my favorites out of here is from Goethe. Also another great poet, local to Colorado, not Colorado Springs, Rosemary Watola Traumer. This is not my favorite book by her because my wife has her favorite, because we both love her so much. Her books, her poetry, almost every single one of these pages is, look at that. You just cannot dog-ear this book enough. It's should have just dog-eared the whole book. Definitely recommend her. So hopefully that gives you some inspiration and some ideas of some easy, quick, bite-sized morning readings to get the mind orientated in that inspiring, content, grateful place to see the world with wonder and awe, because that's the purpose of all this poetry. Whether it's the Bhakti poets who are talking about longing, whether it's kind of the more contemporary poets who are talking about the natural wonders of the world, whether it's kind of more modern poets who are talking about identity and what it's like to live on the avant-garde, or if you want to, look into the vastness of the quantum field and the way in which even science and poetry connect. It's all here for you. Just go out and look into the world, and I encourage you, pick a book. Who's your favorite poet? What's your favorite poetry book? Let us know in the comments below. Please like, share, comment, follow. Check us out next time. We can't wait to hang out with you again and nerd out on all things yoga how-to. Thanks so much for watching.